This is a new idea I have that I'm going to make an asymmetrical dress. And I haven't really started. I'll show you how far I've gotten. I've gotten like 5 rows so far. But what it's going to be is on the slant. So it's going to be one shoulder. And what I had decided to do was to do a spiral of DCs down to the waist, down to here. So it's just going to be, I'm not going to be slip stitching to join and then continuing on. I'm just going to do spiral all the way around, all the way down to the waist. And then from the waist down, going to be doing shells and have it kind of flare out. So it'll be increasing on the shells. So what I'll do here at the top, what I started with was just by measuring around my neck, from the top of my neck and then under my arm on the other side, and then back up the back, 32 inches. And so I chained 32 inches. I'm using like a size 2, I think. I'll show you the yarn in a minute. I did the chain with a 4.5 millimeter so that it wouldn't be too tight, because I'm really bad at too tightly chaining. So, and then the rest of the garment will be in 3.75 millimeter. So the first round that I did was double crochet in the chain, and then the second round started the spiral, and I started with just an increase of just every 10 double crochets I did, and then I did an increase, 2 double crochet in 1 stitch, and then 10 double crochets and then 2 in 1 stitch. I went all the way around, didn't make much of a difference, so I changed to 5 double crochet and then an increase. I'm still going in a spiral. All the way around, that says around, all the way around in rows 3 through 7. I'm going to be doing the increases all the way around, starting at about 8, I think, or wherever my chest starts, you know, getting a little bit larger, probably about right there. I will start only increasing in the front. So I'll use a stitch marker to mark the back portion, and so hopefully it will stay straight in the back. And then once I get to the armpit area, where will be a nice loose fitting sleeve, I will connect with the sleeve and skip over and skip all of these stitches and skip over and connect like a half a raglan, and then continue on in a spiral format, and then start a decrease just in the front, just as much as however many rows I increase just in the front, I will decrease just in the front. So it'll decrease, hopefully give me a bit of a waist. And then after the decreases down to the waist, then I'll start the shells. And what I'm going to do with the shells, I have a small and a large shell. Small shells just decrease, chain 1, decrease, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Large shell, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. Basic small large shell. Those are my shells. So once I start, after I've done my decreases down to the waist before I start the shells, I'm going to have to count how many stitches I have around and then adjust with another row of decreases if I need to, just to get to the right multiple, because I will need a multiple of 5 in order to start the shells. Because what I'll do is, in a stitch, I'll do a large shell and then skip 4 stitches, and then in the next stitch do a large shell, because the large shell is 5 stitches, because there's 2 double crochet, 1 chain, plus 2 more double crochet is 5. And so you're in a stitch, that's 1, and then 4 in between, that makes 5, and so that keeps you pretty even when you first begin. Next row of shells will still be large shells coming off of these 2 large shells in the V, in the chain 1 spots, but then I'll put a chain 1 in between the 2 large shells. And then the next row, row 3, will have the 2 large shells in the 2 large shells, but a small shell there in the chain 1 in between the 2. Okay, so that's a small shell, and we have a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet. And then on the next row, on the 4th row, they're all large shells, and then we repeat from row 2, which means that I put a chain in between each of the large shells as I go around. And I'm thinking that that's going to increase pretty quickly, which I think I like that idea, but you know, this is just the plans. I haven't even started yet, so if it starts going out too fast, then I'll have to do something, but I can't imagine that the flare will be too much as long as we get a nice fit at the top. So that's what I'm planning on doing there. Now let me show you the yarn and such. The yarn that I'm using is Hirschner's Pastry Panache yarn, and this is those pretty colors, blues. Let's see, it's 95% cotton, 5% nylon. So the idea was, oh, it's a 3 light. A 3, sure looks like a 2. Anyway, the idea was to make a summer dress, and I've been putting this off and putting this off. So anyway, it'll be kind of a summer fall dress. And the color is Cool Steel, number 0032 is what I'm using. And I bought several, I don't know, several of these. I can't remember how many I bought. But there are 344 yards in each one, and I think I got so 350. I think I wanted 1,500 yards or 2,000 yards total, and so, well, however many that is. So that's what I'm working on, and I will show you here on my mannequin. So this is that first 32-inch chain, and then the double crochet, and then I started with 10 double crochets and an increase, and then 10 double crochets. Didn't do a whole lot. I knew that I was going to need to come out a lot faster to make a sleeve and to make something that has a little bit of flow to it. So now I'm going all the way around with the 5 double crochet and increase, and all the way around the back as well with the 5 double crochet and increase. And I will do that until probably till, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably like 2 more rows, like to row 7. And then I'm still not going to be quite at the armpit down here. I want it to be nice and loose. So I'll continue then to just be doing increases here on the boobies, across the front, and somehow mark where the back is so I know when to start and stop the increases of every 5. And then once I get to the armpit here, at the peak of the boobies, then we'll start decreasing down to the waist, and then start the shells, and then on the bottom we should have an asymmetrical. I'm planning on stopping at the knee on the short side, so the long side hopefully will flow, and with the flare, and it's not, you know, a body hugger, with the flare it'll kind of, the weight will pull it over here, and it'll be kind of cool. That's what I'm hoping. So so I will keep you all posted. Well, I'll put out a finished product if this makes it to video. If it turns into just a mess, then I won't post it. I'll just have my own little video of fail to put with my other ones. But that's what I'm starting, and I just wanted to do an asymmetrical dress, and that's the idea that I got, and that's what I'm going to stick with for now. And I will post any, well, I will make sure that I let you know of any changes from this as I go along. So anyway, that's where I am. I wanted to mention that if you were interested in creating a piece that's a little less blousy on the top, then you probably want to decrease the amount of increases along the back and perhaps eliminate them altogether along the side without the arm. And you'll have a little bit more of a svelte shaping of this top part of the dress. I wanted something that was a little bit more flowy, so I just wanted to put that in there, and you're just making it to yourself anyway, so try it on as you go along and make adjustments as needed. Just wanted to throw that in there. So this is where I am, just to orient you. This is the part that goes under the arm, and then this is the neckline, and then this is the part that goes over the arm. And so this is the sleeve for the left arm, right here. And so since I'm crocheting from top to bottom, what I did was, came around on this, let's see, I did an increase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way around. Then I did an increase just on the front, 8, 9, 10. And then I don't remember. No, then I did another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of no increases. Yeah, no increases, except for on the sleeve. That's the only place where I did increases. So now we have this nice flowing sleeve. And so when I came around on this 11th round, once I got to where I had marked where the sleeve was, where I was doing the increases on the sleeve, I went ahead and skipped over to the back. So the front right to the back. And I did 2 together. Double crochet 2 together. You don't have to. You can just do a double crochet in here and then a double crochet in here. I just put them together. And then kept going around. And so now I'm not working on the sleeve anymore. I'm just working on the body part, which is right here. And what I've marked here with these strings is I have marked, almost lost that one. I've marked every 12 stitches on that first round, because now from this point going down, from the armpit and from the breast point going down, I'm going to be decreasing. So the first decrease that I was going to do is 10, and then 10 double crochet, and then 2 together. So we need 12. So, right, 10 plus 2 equals 12. So I marked every 12 so that I knew where I was going to decrease. And now that was on row 11, and now on row 12, instead of every 10 and then a decrease, I'm going to do every 9 and then a decrease. But all I need to do is to watch where these markers are and continue to do a decrease someplace in between them. That's all, just someplace in between them until I get down to 5 and then a decrease. And then that will be back to the place that I started. I hope that makes sense. So the part that I didn't show you was where I just continued the body part, the front and the back, without any increases. The only increases I had were on the sleeve, so that would become a little bit more flowy. And then once I had the sleeve long enough to go from my shoulder to under my armpit. So I put it on, and to make sure it went under my armpit and not just for the on the mannequin. And then once I had that done for the left arm, then I hooked it together. So this is just the one half of the raglan style. So now I'm just going around and around, decreasing on the front, since that's where I had been increasing, down to 7, and then I will or 7 and then a decrease, and then I will decrease all the way around till I get down to 5 and then a decrease, because that's the way I had gone up or gone down. And so the way I'm going to continue, when I went up with the increases, was all the way around through 7, and then only on the front through 10, and then no increases except for on the sleeve. So now I'm going to decrease 10, 9, 8, 7, 10, 9, 8 just on the front, and then 7, 6, 5 all the way around. Okay? Okay. Now, so then I got down here, and I had increased to 10, and then I had stopped increasing on the body part and only increased on the sleeve part. If you look closely, you can kind of see the triangles or the lines where the increases were. Anyway, so this is nice and flowing, but so I did increases 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all the way around. Did increases then just on the front, not on the back, on the front and the sleeve on 8, 9, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then on 11, I stopped doing increases on the front, but continued increases on the sleeve only. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then I decided on 16 I would try it, and I put a little clip on there, and I tried it on instead of just on the mannequin, put it on my body, and so I had enough space from shoulder to armpit in here. And so I decided to go ahead and connect. So this sleeve is done. We're not doing anything else with that sleeve. So we connected right there. And now I'm just doing the body part. And so now that we're on row, oh no, I've forgotten what row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. On 17, I started just the body, and then I put in these markers. What these are, these strings are just along the front, and it's every 12th stitch I put them in. And because I'm going to start with a decrease just on the front of 10 double crochet and then 2 together, and then 10 double crochet and then 2 together. So you need 12 in order to do that, right? 10 plus 2 equals 12. So then on the next row, so that I did that, and then on the next row it's going to be 9 and then 2 together, 9 and then 2 together. But I don't have to keep counting because I have these, and so anywhere in between my little markers here, I'm just going to do a decrease, and then and I'm just going to keep doing it, and it's just going to get smaller and smaller in between. And then once there's finally, okay, so I'm going to do that until I have 8 in between. And then for the 7th, since I did 7 increases all the way around, I need to do 7 decreases all the way around, and then 6 and then a decrease, and 6 and a decrease, and then 5 and a decrease, and 5 and a decrease, and then I should be done with my decreasing. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so here's the top. Here's the top of the top and the bottom of the top where I'm working. And I resituated my start point over to under the arm. And so what I did was I continued on and did another 6 rows of double crochet without any increase or decrease or anything. And now I'm going to start the shells. Now where I stopped was where the side that's up with the arm is just above my waist, and the side that goes under my arm is just at my hip. And so what I'm going to do is start the shells for the skirt, and I'm going to do 3 rounds of just the large shells without any increases to get the side under my arm, the upper side, down to the waist and keep that kind of smooth, and then kind of start flaring out with increases for the skirt on the shells. So what I decided to do, because I'm the laziest crocheter around, maybe I should change my name to Lazy Crochet, but I'm going to continue in the spiral, and I think that works, especially since I'm over here on the side. My pretty little pin that showed where I started my plain rounds. Right under the arm, I think that I can have a spiral where it goes from double crochet into a shell, and then just keep going around without having to finish off with a slip stitch and then start again. So we'll see how that goes. But to begin, it is we need to make sure that you're at a multiple of 5. And so I went around, and miraculously it was already at a multiple of 5. But if I had, let's say, because it was 100 and something, I don't even know if it was 110 or 190, I don't know, I don't remember, but it was 100 and something. But let's say that it was 123. You probably want to do some decreases, do 3 decreases around to spread them out so that you can get down to 120. So it's a multiple of 5. But if you have like 119, you probably just want to stick an increase in there somewhere. So count your stitches somewhere in this in these rows of no increases or decreases, so that you can come up with, at this last round, just a nice multiple of 5. So the large shell is 2 double crochet, 1 chain, and 2 double crochet in the same stitch. And then I'm going to skip 4 stitches and then do another one. Now, so to start off, what I'm going to do, the 4 stitches are split between the 2 shells. So what I'm going to do here is just skip 2 stitches and do a shell. And then when I come back around here, I'm going to, hopefully my last shell is going to be right here, and I'm going to have 2 more double crochet on this round that I'm going to skip over those 2 and those 2 and go into the next round of shells. So I'm here, I'm going to skip 2. Alright, so since it's between each shell you skip 4, I'm going to start in that split between the shells. I'm going to start with skipping these 2. In this stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then I hopefully will end with 2 leftover, 2 stitches unworked, and then I will skip those 2 stitches. Does that work? We'll see. Yeah, that should work. And then I'll skip these 2 stitches and then hop into the chain 1 here and do another shell, because that way I'm skipping 4 stitches. These 2 stitches and then these 2 first double crochets. Right there. These 2 stitches and these 2 first double crochets. Okay. Got a voicemail on my phone. So now I'm going to skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and do another large shell, which is 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So I'm going to continue, oopsie, I'm going to continue around and then show you how I hop over and continue in with the spiral. So I finished all the way around, did my last shell, and yay, I have 2 left. So I have 2 stitches left to jump over, and then jump over these 2 first double crochets in the shell and make another large shell here. So in the center of the shell in that chain 1. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. And then jump right on over to the next shell and right in the chain 1, 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. So like I said, for like 3 rounds, I'm going to not do any increases, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to start increasing with the shells, and I'll be back. So I did the 3 rows of just the large shell, the 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So I did 3 rows of that, and now I'm about to start. Here's my stitch marker that tells me that this is the beginning of the round, even though I'm doing this in spirals. This first one is going to be really easy. The first round of increase on the shell is really easy. So we do 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, and then between the shells we do chain 1. That's it. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets. Before I go to the next one, I chain 1, 2 double crochets. So all we're doing is putting a chain 1 in between each of the large shells. And I will meet you back here at the beginning and show you what the next step of the increase is. All right, so I reached my stitch marker here, so I've made it around with the first increase, which was just a chain 1 in between the large shells. So I'm going to start on my next round. And the next increase on this next round is on this chain 1 that we put in between the 2 large shells. We're going to do a small shell. So we finish the large shell, no chain. So double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. In the chain 1, 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. 2 double crochet, because we're back into the large here, into the chain 1 inside the shell. Chain 1, 2 double crochet. The chain in between the 2 large shells, double crochet 1, chain 1, double crochet. So that's a small shell. So we're putting our large shells in the large shells. We're putting the small shells on the chain 1 that we created the previous round. So I'm going to finish that all the way around and show you the next step in the increase with the shells. Reached my stitch marker. I finished, so I have a large shell, small shell, large shell, small shell, large shell, stitch marker. But before I start on this first large shell, I need to add my small shell in here. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Now I'm going to go back in. It starts off the same with a large shell in a large shell. Oopsie. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and now we have this small shell that we come upon. We're going to make it into a large shell. So in the center, with the chain 1 in the center between the 2 double crochets, we're going to do a large shell, 2 double crochets, then a chain 1, 2 double crochets. And then the large shell is still a large shell. 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, small shell becomes a large shell, and a large shell stays the same. So at the end of this round, we're going to have all large shells. So do you remember what we did after we did the 3 rounds of large shells? What was our first? So we ended up with just a round of large shells. Our first increase was to put a single chain in between each of the large shells. And then on the next round, on that single chain, we did a small shell. Now on this round, we're making a large shell in each of the small shells. So by the time we get all the way around, it's just going to be all large shells. And then, so our next round, we're going to add a chain in between each of the large shells. Okay? And we'll see how fast it's growing. We may need to slow down a bit. So it's to your own preference. If you like to have a little bit less of a slope, then you can do like 2 rounds of each step of the increase. That's fine. Oh, I have an error here. Look, it's a homemade kiss. See, I had a large shell that I only put 1 on one side. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna frog it and take it out. It just lets people know that it wasn't machine made. It was handmade. Anyway, so if you want a little bit of a slower flare, then just do 2 rounds of each of the types of increase. So you do 2 rounds of the 1 chain in between, and then 2 rounds of the large, small shells, and then 2 rounds of just the large shell all the way around. So that's one way that you can slow it down if you want a little bit less of a flare. If you want a big flare, I'm trying that, so I'm going to see how many I do and see if I have to frog it back. But I'm just doing 1 round for each type of increase. So that's all I'll do. I'll see you back in a bit. I was just running out of yarn for one of my balls of yarn and was about to connect to the next one. So I don't know if you guys join your yarn or if you finish off and then restart with a new skein or ball or cake or whatever. So I just wanted to stop and just show you how I do it. I think I've heard it called a magic knot. It's the Russian join cheater version is what I do. So you don't have to do it this way. This is just what I do. I tried to, so luckily I have a few of these, and so especially since I was ending off on a white portion of this stripe, and I went through and I found one that started with a white. Since it wasn't a whole lot of white, I was just going to cut it off, so I didn't want to have a splotch of white and then go to a dark blue again. So if you're doing with a striping yarn, you might want to keep that in mind. I'm using this instead of the white background since it's white yarn. So I would just put my the old yarn, the ending yarn down, and the new yarn down from the new ball. Now I take the ending yarn and wrap it around the new yarn and make a knot to where your tail is going away from the end of the new one. And then gotta get the right ends. Tighten that knot, then go to the new yarn, make a knot to where the end is being pulled away from the center or away from the old yarn end. See if I can get the ends there. And pull that knot tight. And then you take the two and you pull those two knots together and give it a good tug. And then you take your scissors and carefully cut your ends here. This knot's pretty good. I've washed it. I haven't had any problems with it, so it works for me. And that's the important thing, is to find something that works for you. So this works for me. I'm gonna cut the ends fairly short, throw that away, and now I've got a whole new ball of yarn attached. Okay, just thought I'd share that with you. All right, so I've gotten a little farther, and the flaring of the skirt has gotten a little out of hand. That's what you get for just jumping into something, seeing what happens. So what I did was I slowed down the flare, and then I stopped it altogether. So what I did was, after doing, how many rounds? I did 2 rounds of just, or 2 sets of just of 1 increase per row, per round. And then I did a whole set of where I did 1 increase and then just didn't increase the next one, and then did the next increase and it didn't increase the next round, and so on. And then when I got to where I had the large shell double crochet shells around, then once I got back around to my stitch marker that said I had made it around, I just started making trebles. So because it was taking too long to get to a length, so I started making trebles and not increasing. So I changed from the double crochet large shell to a treble crochet large shell. So 2 trebles, a chain 1, 2 trebles, 2 trebles, a chain 1, 2 trebles. And I have gotten it to a length where I'm gonna wear it tonight, so I'm gonna stop. I may come back to it and make it into a dress. Right now it's more of a tunic, and wear it over some pants. And so you can go on and on and on forever. Well, not forever, you know, but go on and on until you get it to a length that you want as far as a dress. But I'm going to continue just to the end here and show you, and then I will show you what it looks like on. So I've got my treble crochets here without doing any increases. And how many treble crochet? 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. Yeah, 4 rounds of treble crochet, no increase. Treble crochet shells, I should say. So you do 2, then a chain 1, and then 2 more. And now I get to my stitch marker that says I have made it around a full round. And so now what I'm going to do is kind of gradually go down. So I'm going to make a double crochet large shell. And then a half double large shell. So I don't have just a drop off. And I think from here, I can skip over into, oh, because I'm at the end of this one here. I'm going to skip into the next treble, the second one, the one right before the chain 1. And I'm going to skip in there and just do a chain 1. Do a slip stitch and then a chain 1. And then I'm going to weave this in. And then if I want to come back, I can unweave it and take out these 2 and then just continue on with some more trebles. But I'm wearing it tonight, so I gotta get it to a point where I can stop. So I also, what I did was added, so here's our left arm that we have the arm, and this is what goes under our arm because it's a off the shoulder. It's our one sleeve doohickey. What I did was I just made a large chain that made it around the neck, and then I put a pin, a safety pin type stitch marker in one of the ends, and then just wove it through the double crochets at the top until I got it all the way around, so that I can, as crochet stretches and such, I want to be able to make sure that it's tight enough or loose enough from my shoulder down to under my arm over here, so that it doesn't start slipping down. We don't want that. So anyway, so I will show you some pictures and here at the end. And thank you very much for your time. I hope you learned something. And I'd love to see pictures of this on my on our Facebook community. That would be great. There'll be a link for it down below. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video if you like it, and hit the bell so you get a notification of anything when I put something new out. And let me know in the comments how you feel about this. And if you make something like it, please share, like I said, in the Facebook. And thank you very much for your time. Hope you enjoyed it. And we always have a choice, so please choose happy. Yay! Have a great day.